and see if we can get inside.
Chaos in the Capitol. More than 24 House Republicans staging a protest today, barging into the secure room where impeachment investigators were deposing their latest witness. Those Republicans blasting House Democrats for holding hearings in private with no transcripts made public.
What is Adam Schiff trying to hide? Voting members of Congress are being denied access from being able to see what's happening behind these closed doors where they're trying to impeach the President of the United States with a one-sided set of rules.
But those Republicans were violating House rules that say only Republicans and Democrats on 3 key committees are allowed inside. Democrats slamming it as a political stunt.
The President has enlisted allies on the Hill to see what they can do to stop the witnesses, but we will go forward with the testimony.
Today's interruption delaying for hours testimony from Laura Cooper, the top Pentagon career official overseeing Ukraine policy. That as the president for the first time is responding after Bill Taylor's explosive testimony. The president calling his top diplomat in Ukraine a never-Trumper who I don't know, and tweeting, "Never-Trumper Republicans, watch out for them. They are human scum." Taylor, a West Point graduate and President Bush's ambassador to Ukraine, was asked just 4 months ago by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to return to Ukraine for the Trump administration. In closed-door testimony Tuesday, Taylor directly contradicted the president's repeated assertion that there was no quid pro quo with Ukraine's leader, who wanted a White House meeting and U.S. military aid. Taylor testifying that he was told by another diplomat that President Trump wanted Ukraine's president, quote, in a public box, by first announcing investigations into the Bidens and the 2016 election. Democrats calling the testimony damning.
Ambassador Bill Taylor testified and gave the most sweeping and devastating testimony about President Trump's efforts to shake down the Ukrainian government.
But some Republicans are pouncing after Taylor testified that Ukraine did not learn the aid was being withheld until weeks after the July call between President Trump and Ukraine's president.
Neither he or any other witness has provided testimony that the Ukrainians were aware that military aid was being withheld. You can't have a quid pro quo with no quo.
Still tonight, the second most powerful Republican in the Senate is revealing cracks within his party. John Thune saying reports of Bill Taylor's testimony paint a picture that, in his words, is, quote, not a good one.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.